There was a young man named Chidi. Chidi was kind and hardworking, and everyone in the village liked him. He was about to marry a beautiful woman named Adaize. Adaize was known for her bright smile and caring nature. The whole village was looking forward to their wedding. On the morning of their wedding, the sun shone brightly and the birds sang happy songs. The village was decorated with colorful flowers and everyone was wearing their best clothes. Chidi was dressed in a fine suit and Adaize was wearing a beautiful white dress. They both looked very happy. The ceremony began and the village elder, Papa Ize, began the wedding rituals. Just as Chidi was about to say his vows, a loud voice interrupted the ceremony. It was Obinna, a friend of Chidi's. He ran up to Chidi and whispered in his ear. Chidi's face turned pale and he looked very upset. Without saying a word, Chidi turned and walked away from the ceremony, leaving Adaize standing alone. The villagers were shocked and didn't know what had happened. Adaize's eyes filled with tears and she tried to call out to Chidi, but he was already gone. Chidi ran to the nearby forest and tried to clear his mind. He sat under a big tree and thought about what Obinna had told him. Obinna had said that Adaize was secretly seeing another man named Emeka. Chidi couldn't believe it. He felt his heart breaking into a million pieces. As he sat there, he remembered all the times he and Adaize had spent together. He thought about how she had always been so kind and loving. He couldn't believe that she could betray him like that. Meanwhile, back in the village, Adaize was also thinking about Chidi. She knew she had made a mistake, but she didn't know how to make things right. She loved Chidi and didn't want to lose him. Just then, Emeka appeared from behind the crowd. He walked up to Adaize and everyone gasped. Emeka looked serious as he spoke. Adaize, you must tell Chidi the truth. He deserves to know everything. Adaize nodded slowly and wiped away her tears. She knew she had to find Chidi and explain everything. She hoped he would understand and forgive her. And so Adaize began her journey to find Chidi, hoping to mend her broken heart. Adaize walked through the village, her heart heavy with worry. She asked everyone she met if they had seen Chidi. Some people shook their heads, while others pointed her in the direction of the forest. Adaize thanked them and hurried in the direction they pointed. As she entered the forest, she felt a mixture of fear and hope. She hoped that she would find Chidi and that he would listen to her. The forest was quiet, except for the sound of birds singing and leaves rustling in the wind. Adaize walked deeper into the forest, calling Chidi's name. "Chidi, Chidi, where are you?" she called, her voice echoing through the trees. After a while, she saw a figure sitting under a large tree. Her heart skipped a beat when she recognized Chidi. He was sitting with his head in his hands, looking very sad. Adaize took a deep breath and slowly approached him. "Chidi," she said quietly. Chidi looked up, his eyes red from crying. He said nothing, just stared at her. Adaize sat down beside him, not too close, but close enough that he could hear her. "Chidi, I'm so sorry," she began, her voice shaking. "I know I made a huge mistake. I didn't mean to hurt you." Chidi sighed and looked away. "Why, Adaize, why did you do it?" Adaize took a deep breath and explained everything. She told Chidi how she had met Emeka a long time ago, before she even knew Chidi. Emeka had been kind to her, but they had lost touch. When they met again recently, she was confused about her feelings. She didn't want to hurt Chidi, but she also didn't want to hide the truth anymore. "I should have told you sooner, Chidi. I was scared and didn't know how you would react," Adaize said, tears streaming down her face. "But I love you, Chidi. I really do. Please give me a chance to make things right." Chidi listened silently. He felt a mix of emotions, anger, sadness, and a little bit of hope. He didn't know what to say. Part of him wanted to forgive Adaize because he still loved her, but another part of him was deeply hurt and didn't know if he could trust her again. As they sat in silence, a gentle breeze blew through the forest, rustling the leaves above them. Adaize reached out and gently touched Chidi's hand. He looked at her and saw the sincerity in her eyes. "Chidi, please," she whispered. "Can we try to fix this together?" Chidi took a deep breath and nodded slowly. "I don't know if it will be easy, Adaeze, but I think we can try." Adaeze smiled through her tears and held Chidi's hand. They both knew it would be a long journey, but they were ready to take the first step together. As they stood up and started walking back to the village, they didn't notice the pair of eyes watching them from the shadows. Emeka stood hidden behind a tree, his face a mask of regret and longing. He knew he had made a mistake too, and he wondered if there was a way to make things right without causing more pain. As Chidi and Adaeze walked back to the village, they talked about their feelings and their hopes for the future. They knew it would take time to rebuild the trust that had been broken, but they were both willing to work at it. As they reached the edge of the forest, Emeka stepped out from behind a tree. Chidi and Adaeze stopped in their tracks, surprised to see him. Emeka looked at them with a sad expression on his face. "Chidi, Adaeze," Emeka began, "I must apologize. I never meant to come between you. I was selfish and didn't think of the consequences of my actions. I'm really sorry." Chidi looked at Emeka for a long time. He could see the honesty in his eyes. Finally, Chidi nodded. "Thank you, Emeka. It means a lot to me to hear you say that." Emeka smiled weakly. "I hope you both find happiness together. You deserve it." With that, Emeka turned and walked away, leaving Chidi and Adaeze standing together. They watched him go, feeling a sense of closure. Over the next few weeks, Chidi and Adaeze worked hard to rebuild their relationship. They spoke openly and honestly, and slowly but surely, trust began to grow. The village, which had been shocked and saddened by the events of the wedding day, supported and cheered them on. One day, as the sun was setting, Chidi and Adaeze were sitting by the river. The sky was painted with beautiful shades of orange and pink, and the water sparkled in the fading light. "Adaeze," Chidi said quietly, "I'm glad we decided to try again. I learned so much about forgiveness and love." Adaeze smiled and rested her head on Chidi's shoulder. "Me too, Chidi. I've learned how important honesty is. We have to be honest with each other, no matter how hard it is." As they sat there watching the sunset, they both felt a deep sense of peace. They knew their journey wasn't over, but they were ready to face whatever came their way, together. Moral lesson. The story of Chidi and Adaeze teaches us that love and trust are fragile, but can be repaired with honesty, forgiveness, and effort. It's important to be honest with the people we care about and to work together to overcome challenges. True love is about supporting each other, even when things are difficult. Yes, dear friends, I hope you have enjoyed our story. If you made it this far, you can mention the names of the characters in the story by leaving a heart emoji in the comment. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.